Showtime. Right, we are live, and Be Live TV is working as it should, which delights me. Before we get going with the Barefoot Doctor, the one and only Barefoot Doctor, I'm just going to share this into the groups, and then I'll do the proper introduction. Let me have a look. Let's see if we've actually appeared on there yet. Yay, there we are. Share to a group. We're going into Amped. We're going into Power UNG Healing. Job is a good one, right? Because I know as before, Stephen, we have people joining us through the night from the Pacific and Eastern time zones. So let's get this right. So hello to everyone. We are thrilled to be back. And joining me today, we have the creator of Amped, which is the most advanced and best brainwave entrainment program on the planet. This magnificent course will help you to manifest from an embodied understanding of the Taoist principles behind it. Amped also takes you on a healing journey which helps you to release that which stands in your way of your dreams and goals. Countless people from around the world have invested in Amped with great effect. We'll be talking more about this later, and in particular, the imminent, much anticipated release of Amped Volume 2. So you're definitely going to want to stick around for that. My brilliant guest today is also a best-selling author, having written no less than 21 books. He's so humble, he's allowed me to say 17 for the last 3 interviews, but it's actually 21, my goodness. And having manifested an extraordinary life for himself, he certainly knows his subjects. As I say, he's here with me today. I'm joined once again by the amazing Barefoot Doctor, Stephen Russell. Welcome, my friend.
You do the best intros of anyone ever. Thank you. I'm humbled.
Yes, it's such an honour and a privilege. I love doing these with you, my friend, and I know it's helped so many people in the process. So it's a win-win situation. We have 12 viewers online. Judy saying hi, Stephen and Danny. So nice to see you. Likewise, I'll just get some of these comments up on the screen, Stephen, before we start. Karen Richards saying, looking forward to Amped 2. Yeah, so you should be. My goodness, what a treat. William saying, good day. Sabine, hey guys. Julia Jenkins is saying hello. It's funny, these comments are coming in at 11:11, which is interesting from a numerological point of view. Julia is saying, hello, Karen. Hey, chaps. So, yes, I'd like to start off, Stephen, by asking you, it might seem like a strange question, but why is it so important to heal yourself? I mean, why should people do this and go on a healing quest?
Whoa, it's a big question, but it's the most obvious one, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, look, we all of us exist in a state of various degrees of turmoil inside. What you see on the outside of everybody is not actually what's going on the inside. We're very polite with each other, and we all agree to play the game of taking each other at face value with sort of, I'm all right, Jack, I'm cool, because that's what we all do, right? I mean, it's biologically programmed in, because if you showed weakness, if you could imagine being in a small hunting pack, for example, and if you showed physical weakness, like you were lagging, they might have to leave you there and you die. So I'm sure it's biologically programmed in to do that. And what I've discovered, being, having the privilege of having that calling to work as a healer for quite a few decades, that the times that in my naivety, I was shocked into the awareness of, God, I didn't realize everyone is suffering. Because I remember doing a big do at some corporate blah, blah, when I was very famous. And I used to pay a lot of money for doing things like that. And I'd done this talk to a group of 400 very well-heeled looking mid-30s or so successful young marketing type people. And thinking, wow, they've really got it together, this lot. They're successful, aren't they? They look happy. They look like they're very healthy, well-balanced people. And afterwards, a line formed spontaneously outside the hall thing in the corridor. And one by one, people started asking advice, telling me their conditions, what they would go. And I was amazed because every one of them looked so all right. But I said to someone, I remember saying, I don't know how you live like, I don't know how you keep going. How do you do that? And there's so much pain and suffering behind the disguise of everybody. And there are ways of addressing it. There are, well, we know this, psychotherapy is the obvious one where you get to understand what is going on inside. At least you get to look at it, because what we do, being human, we have this amazing skill for self-deception, selective awareness. We don't walk around thinking, well, the body's crumbling, these cells it's all dying off, and probably going to be dead in about 20 years. Well, yeah, and you don't walk around. I mean, I do, because I'm trained to do that, but people don't do that. So what we do is we mask all the time. Oh, have you seen that movie? Oh, I must get those shoes. Oh, I really got to get this project to it. Oh, I must have a relationship with that. But as if these things will actually stop death happening. It's not happening, any of that. That mucky shit isn't going on anymore. Yeah. And there are countless ways or approaches to somehow getting in touch with what the actual fears and pains and distortions are, where they are in your body, because they all have they're all mapped physically onto the body as well as being in your thoughts. And there are ways of adjusting, firstly, the body through like the Chinese medicine approach, for example, using the acupuncture or the touching or whatever to move the energy in the organs, because the organ energy dictates the mind state and vice versa. I mean, just as a quick tangent, if I'm livid, I'm angry. It's because the liver's overheating. If I've got a lot of courage, it's because my heart is working well. Courage, le cœur, the heart. It's heart energy. In French they say it more than in English. You give vent to your spleen. You speak your mind. The spleen controls your mind, your intellect, your intellectual faculties. For example, I feel it in my waters. That's the kidneys. That's where your intuition arises from, because they're all about learning to relax and flow with what is, rather than be scared and pull away from it, and so on. So you can change the state like that, which is very important, and then you can change the thoughts that you have habitually, which somehow between them dictate the experience you have, and you can change them. It's not through brainwashing; it's by having a different conversation with yourself. Because what most people are not aware of is that they're talking to themselves all the time. They're negotiating with themselves. Or, it seems ridiculous. How can one thing negotiate with itself? But we have many different aspects, and there'll be the gross base animal drive. I've got to have that. Gets tempered by what we would call conscience. Well, no, if you actually acted that urge out, it could be quite destructive. So how do we find a way for you, the beast, to actually express yourself and feel like you've got your money's worth without destroying everything? And then you go through this negotiating process, which you sort of semi-resolve, but don't really. I mean, that's why it's always a bit messy, and we have to keep working on ourselves. But by and by, you can find a way to sit and accommodate this existential torment, to accommodate it in a way that it isn't tormenting you anymore. In fact, it becomes quite amusing. So that when, for example, I go out of the house after I've been working all day, and I'm a bit all over the place from the music and everything, and I sort of turn the corner and I look for something in my little bum bag that I wear as a shoulder bag, and then I kind of lose my balance a bit because I'm leaning over to, and somebody sees me. Instead of going, oh, really, they think I'm an idiot, they call me losing my balance, and I'm a Tai Chi master. Oh yeah, big deal. Me, and go through all that. You just go, oh, that's interesting. You're still a clown. Good. You're still a clown. That's great. Let's go. So you have a way of, I don't know, turning everything to your favor rather than judging it as wrong. And I think this is the part that we meet on. It's this: how do you address the stories in your mind, and how do you intervene in them and change them without being fascistic with yourself? How do you get that agreement from yourself?
What a beautiful answer. I love, turning up on these live streams, and I've got my questions I'm going to ask you. You've got no idea. And I just shoot a question at you, and you just articulate beautifully, smoothly, seamlessly, and it just all flows through you. And And that's a great skill. That's a gift. And
Thank you.
thank you. I've taken a note of a few questions from the groups. And another one, Isabel Martins, who is my joint venture partner. She's wondering how best do we navigate the fears which flow through society, in particular, and the threat of wars that are actually going on, political unrests and agendas. And then, on top of all that, try and achieve our own goals and maintain some kind of equilibrium or inner balance and calm.
Well, I mean, Isabel, I don't know that we can do anything direct. Well, I mean, there are things we can do directly if we're involved in the game, politics and so on, to intervene. And believe me, I've done that one where you get to know the people who are the big players, and you start working with them as a consultant and guiding them a bit and thinking, well, I'm really doing a good job here. In sort of finally, I'm getting this enlightenment to spread through the darkness of the machine, and only to find out about 10 years later that they took all that information and used it as a way to kind of sell more stuff to people. But that's by the by. What I'm thinking, I do devote what must be about 3 seconds a day, but no, it must be more, I don't know, where at the end of my meditation, instead of just having it all for me, I give it to everybody. Like I wish for, I do this alchemical thing where I move the energy around my body, then it goes out the body and goes round the cosmos, if you like. And as it goes up the back, it's refining everything. And as it goes down the front, it's purifying everything. You breathe in, it goes up, it refines the universe. You breathe out, it goes down, it purifies the universe. And I don't mean to sound grandiose. It's not about that. It's just the above reflects the below. The macro reflects the micro. And in that, selflessly, in that moment, letting go of my own me, just for a second, and letting, let this refine it for everybody, for all the world leaders, for everybody that's going through their stuff, refine the feeling of everything, and then let this purify everything, everyone, of all the greed and the fear and everything else that drives it, well, apparently the wrong way. And that there is that's important, but I don't think we can stop or should even try and stop the story, because what this is what the Chinese would call the Tao, the Great Way. We might call it God, but then the trouble with that is it colors it with a lot of kind of anthropization. When you oh my God, I used to be able to say that word so easily, but when you project human onto God, so it's not really that. It's just the way of all things has to unfold through what they call the yin and the yang. The shadow what's kept in the shade eventually must come to light. And then what was bright and out there must eventually turn to shade. It must go back into the shade. So you get empires grow into the greatest light. And at that point, the corruption is so disgusting that's the dark that gradually pulls it back into the shade again. And then the same thing's happening to what was in the shade comes into the light, and then that corrupts. And that's the way the yin and the yang unfolds. And we do tend to want to see the worst in everything and get afraid of the worst that can happen. It's a self-protective mechanism. So maybe we'll be prepared that way. It doesn't really work like that. But so when we see various world leaders behaving in a way that appears to be cavalier, shall we say, or possibly dangerous, we tend to think the worst. And the media, whose business, remember, is selling ad space, basically, therefore have to be sensational and sensationalist a lot of the time. They know that we get all scared about everything, and that's what they sell their stuff based on. There's going to be a war. The markets are going to crash, and everybody goes, we all get into this thing, and that sells. It gets people interested. It sells ad space, and no war or financial depression or social unrest has ever been averted by people being afraid of it. That's for sure. That's never made it go away. So it doesn't really serve any purpose to indulge the fear. But what we do is we go, look, I have fear because I'm an animal and I'm alive. Every animal on the planet has fear. I mean, look at a cat totally in repose, but if something happens, they're awake, they're on it. All animals have that. You have to have it. It keeps us alive. So because we have outsourced all our survival kind of needs, you don't have to hunt, you go to the supermarket. You don't have to ward off marauders as you walk down the street because we've got the police, in theory anyway, or we've got CCTV cameras and so on. So the mind doesn't know what to do with this fear that's arising in the belly. And to justify it, it makes stories in the head. And those are the stories that combine with the collective stories that get us to be terrified of wars that, you have to admit, mostly don't happen, and of financial crashes, which only sort of happen every whatever it is. Well, we're probably due for one any time now, actually. But anyway, and the point is so what? I mean, we all take it so seriously. We're all going to be dead anyway eventually. So why take it so seriously? If it goes up, it goes down. Yeah, I know it's scary. And we don't want inconvenience. We don't like our nice comfort, our habits changed for us. But you know what it's like when your habits are forced to change. It's no big deal. It's not like you think it's going to be. You just get on with it. And, human beings are incredibly adaptive. We have that strength, and we were spoiled. We get spoiled very easily and get softened by it. But when push comes to shove, we are amazingly resourceful and ingenious. And that is what we have to remember. We will somehow prevail.
Yeah, I love that answer. So grounded, so practical. And you're right, things are never as bad as you think they're going to be in your mind, projecting out into an imagined future. Once it arrives, you kind of, your skills, your life skills, kick into action. And as you say, you just deal with it. And it's never as bad as it seems. So, yeah, that's brilliant advice. Thank you for that. The next question comes in from William from the AMP group. And he's talking about asking, how do you achieve relaxation and dissolve tension in Tai Chi / push hands / Qigong? He said any tips from you would be greatly appreciated.
Oh, hi, William. I bet you could probably teach me more than I could teach you, because I'm a lunatic. I don't relax at all. No, actually, by nature, that's true. I'm very excitable, as you can probably tell. So that's why I had to learn this stuff and why I have to practice. I'm looking down at my microphone, by the way. I realize I keep looking down like I'm demented. Look, it's that. I mean, you'd look at that as well, wouldn't you, if it was there? It's like a little space person. What you do is you concentrate, of course, on the physical. So if I'm in posture in Qigong, I'm using that to push myself back into my back. And I use the kind of bound dynamic strength of the muscles to hold me in position, but I'm relaxing at the same time. So my muscles are taut, or they're in action, but they're not overstraining. So I think we tend to confuse relaxing with collapsing. And what we really want to achieve is when you look at the Japanese kodo drummers, or some, Rudolf Nureyev, or excuse the old reference, pre-millennial, or any fan, or what's the guy, the Irish guy, the amazing cage fighter guy that's winning, Conor McGregor, or whatever, the beautiful Irish guy who I love. I'm sorry, I forgot your name. Him, when he's fighting, like, he's totally relaxed. He's completely relaxed in it. But the muscles are in action. They're taut, but they're relaxed. So for me, it's like I don't try and go bleh, because that doesn't work for me. That isn't it. I actually make myself stay like quite alert and active, which doesn't look like relaxing in a way. You think, well, you're meant to go like that, but it's not. I'm in it and I'm strong in it. And when I feel strong, I'm able to relax because I feel safe. I think, does that help? I keep looking at the microphone. Does that help?
I'm sure it does. Not sure William is in our same time zone, so I think he could actually be in bed right now, but I'm sure he'll get back to you in the AMP group. We have a question from Heidi, and she's wanting to feel free to experience more pleasure in her life, and asks, I'm just wondering how, from a Taoist point of view, pleasure stands in relation to fear and joy.
Good question. Pleasure, I suppose you mean, Heidi, in the sense of sensual pleasure, the pleasure of the senses. With the Taoist practice is that the idea is that you activate all your senses so that you've got that feeling of pleasure moving through you at all times. It really is a matter of being mindful to keep appreciating the gift that we have of being here. Simultaneously, not to get lost in that realm of pleasure. That it's an interesting dynamic. The pleasure can be perceived as an experience occurring mostly in the front of the body. I'm not suggesting you don't feel it in your back as well, but it's within the arena of human experience of, oh, I like this, is nice, isn't it? Oh, I want more of it. Oh, don't stop. Or give me more. Well, I want it in pink now. I want it in blue. Look, can I have it sweet? Can I have it sour? Oh, this is lovely. This is great. That is kind of the personality experiencing the joys of the world, which occur sort of before you, in front of you, in the realm of the front body. When you're grounded, the Taoist idea is that you remain grounded, centered by occupying the back part of you, because that's the basis of who you are. You developed in the womb from the back outwards as an embryo. The back is the original home. The spine is the original solid bit of you, and to remain back, you are behind all the drama, are therefore able to observe it. A little like you're walking past a theatre where there's a play on, people clapping. You can faintly hear it, but you're not distracted by it because it's inside the theatre. Very similar. So that you notice the pleasure and the pleasure response and the want more response and all of that arise, and you allow your body to feel the pleasure, but you're observing it from behind. And you're not therefore investing in the pleasure. Oh, I don't want this to stop. Give me more. Give me more. It's just, that's interesting. As interesting as pain. The two are just different expressions of the Tao come to visit you in an unusual form is all. So pleasure, yeah, enjoy it to the full, but never believe in it. Like, don't invest in it as being the answer to anything, because it isn't. It's just like a nice smell passing by in the air, really.
Yeah, fantastic answer. And I'm seeing that more and more in my life. Just not investing too much in whatever's going on, whether it's in so-called good or bad, up, down. It's just, as you say, it's all part of the dance. It's all part of the ocean waves that go out and then come back in. It's
Yeah.
that sort of thing. And I'm really seeing that more and more since hooking up, since working with you, since doing Amped and emailing with you and having these conversations. So thank you for that. Rob Carpenter, who I believe you know, he's just typed in a question. He's picking up on Heidi's question, not Heidi, Isabel's question. He's saying a supplementary question to this is it all about existential angst? Navigating life on this spinning top. Some embrace life in the moment and thrive. Others self-medicate to suppress their thoughts and not think about it. And some take their own lives because they finally give up seeing the point. Is there any answer to all of this?
It's a good question. I mean, it's a profound question. Is there any answer? One, I don't really get that there's a question in the first place, Rob. I don't see it as we can make a question out of it. This just is nature. This is how nature works. You have the rose, considered to be the queen of all the beautiful flowers, and yet if you run your hand up the stalk that the rose grows on, you're going to get hurt by the thorns. It's just the way it is. To have beautiful plants growing, you tend to have shit on the ground as fertilizer. There's always that the yin and the yang of it, and to have a beautiful garden, you do have to spend quite a lot of time pulling weeds out of the ground and so on. Some of the plants will make it and some of them won't. Some will find it really easy being a flower, others won't. And I myself, I find it rather easy being a flower sometimes, and at other times I really find it difficult being a flower in the garden. There are times when, with all my practice, and I'm a happy man, whatever that means, I love being here, but there are definitely times every now and again where I think like, yeah, actually, if I was going to die now, what a relief that would be when I have to keep doing all this stuff. I get those moments as well. We all do, but it comes down to, with me, firstly, I don't feel that I control when I die. I don't think it's in my hands. I really see it when your number's up. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't even care. It's the way it looks to me. So why don't I just in that moment go, this is what I do. I go, all right, you're losing the will to live there. That's your kidney energy, because it is. All right. Boost the kidneys, and I'll do this. I'll sit and I'll push back inside against it, and I go, now I know that you'll think, well, what a nutter, but actually the reason I do that is the ancient Taoist healing sound for the kidneys, and in doing that, even right now, I'm feeling heat. There's this kind of heat going into my kidneys that I imagine not dissimilar to a hot flush when you're in menopause. It's quite powerful. And that will, within a day, maximum. If I'd have to do it a little longer than that, I like, a few minutes of that. Within a day, my will to live will be right back. Not even that long. I'll be right back with it. And that's kind of how I tend to work. But with people, if I can stop anyone killing themselves, I always will. I don't feel that just because it's destined and it's your numbers up. Don't try. Always do anything to try and keep people alive. I don't even know why. It just seems that you have to do that. And myself too, even though I've got my destructive side, we all have, the entropic pull to die. We all have that, the death urge, Freud called it. Always to support the positive. Come on. Just get on top of it that much. And that's why I do training every day, because that helps me keep just about on top of that urge. And I want to live instead.
Brilliant. Beautiful answer. We've got one more question coming in, which I'd like to ask you from from William again. Then we're going to move on to Amped Volume 2. But William's asking, I rise up to all... Oops, the comments are moving. I rise up to all that is beautiful. Life is a miracle. Can Doc talk more about activating thymus or thymus, why and how to help it grow? I don't quite understand the question myself. I'm hoping you do. The thymus or thymus, THYMAS.
Oh, thymus. Oh, yeah, the thymus. Yeah. Good question. Got it. Yeah, a good one. Well, the idea is that it's a gesture of the noble person, the king, the queen of the realm. There's, when the archetypal image of a sovereign of a realm, they have a big barrel chest because they're the sovereign. And the way the big chest is developed is that you concentrate on the top of the chest where the thymus gland is, and you raise that with your mind upwards and slightly forwards a little bit. But you don't arch your back to do that because that weakens your kidneys. You push back even more, but at the same time, you raise your breastbone. And when you do those two things together, pushing back into the kidneys, raising the breastbone, it more or less forces on a subtle level the chest to expand laterally. So and that exposes a sort of an invisible imaginary opening in the middle of the chest so that the heart is able to open. And in that, now that's a true heart opening, lifting the thymus and the heart opening. It also stimulates the thymus gland, which is where the human growth, we start as babies and then we become adults. That whole process is controlled by the thymus. At the age of 21, when we presumably stop growing, the thymus is said to go, it becomes, it closes down. The Taoist technique is to keep stimulating the thymus in various ways. For example, take your fingertips, just percuss on the upper chest for a while and do it every day. And what that does is it keeps you youthful. It stops you becoming a stultified adult at the age of 21. It keeps you growing, basically. It activates the child energy inside, as I experience. And it's very interesting because aside from the opening of the heart that it affords you, which enables you to feel a loving soul connection with everyone around you. It doesn't mean you like everybody, so you don't have to do that. But you feel the love. You're including everyone in your love. You're embracing the world in your love. Humanity, your family is embraced in your love. Therefore, you can expect for them to embrace you in theirs, more or less, as well. This is very, very important. This is the rising up to all that is beautiful. Within me, my beautiful qualities, within everyone around me, their beautiful qualities, rather than focusing on the dark side. It's not being in denial of it, rather than thinking humanity is so fucking stupid. You think humanity just got a camera to fly past Saturn, and we're able to control the clicks to make it take pictures and carry it further on into outer space. Humanity is amazing. Humanity is ingenious. Humanity actually processes probably about 100 skyscrapers worth of human excrement every single day. 100 skyscrapers full of that every single day gets somehow processed, so we're not walking around in it all over the place. We are incredible, and that is what I'm talking about, rising. That's a funny way of describing it, I know. Rising up to all that is beautiful in myself and in everyone around me. That's a product of opening the heart up. But the thymus, when you even just think about it, it changes reality. It's one of the tricks of Taoist magic, which is actually coming in volume 3. That's part of the theme of it all, because it's all about doing miracles. When I was doing a gig in Ibiza, it's happened many times. I remember it'd be 5 a.m. You're getting a bit tired, and I'm on the mic, and you've got a crowd of like everyone being super cool and off their heads at the same time, mostly not even speaking English. So my English is not necessarily the main communication tool. I'm kind of using rhythm and I'm kind of using cadence, and I'm kind of making it just fit so that it makes them feel something beyond the words. And it's going flat. It's like, I'm good, but it's going flat. And I'm thinking, fuck, shit, what do I do now? Remember the thymus, comes the voice. And I go, bing, and I activate it. And honestly, within about 34 seconds, suddenly the place is all popping off and it's coming. That's how it works. It's proper magic, the thymus. I can't recommend thymuses enough, in fact.
Nice one. Awesome advice. Thank you, Doc. I just want to thank everyone's comments they've been making. I've been showing as many as I can on the screen. Paul's been bringing up some very useful insights as well. So thank you to everyone. We've currently got 15 viewers on. Awesome to have you join us. I'd like to move on now, Doc, and talk about Amped Volume 2. And first of all, the question on my lips and everyone's lips is, when do you think it might be ready for release? I know you're fine-tuning at the moment, but when do you think it might be?
I can talk you through the agenda if you like. I don't know how much life's going to stick to it, but I looks like I will have it all totally and utterly done, 100% checked by the end of this week. By the new moon on Sunday is what I'm seeing. I can't see why not. I mean, it's almost there now. I just have to allow, because it's 6 hours worth of stuff that I have to listen to, which means I have to go driving basically for 6 hours in a car, because it's the only way I can sit listening for 6 hours is just to be on and you can hear it good in the car anyway. It's good taste.
Yes.
So I once I've done that and then come back and make any final, and it's not neurosis, I promise it's not, because friends will go, oh, you artist, you musician. It isn't that really. It's this stuff's so important to get it right, because it's sound technology and the sound frequencies. Believe me, when I'm working on this stuff and when they're out of balance, which they obviously are, it makes your head go really funny. It makes you go nuts, actually. So you have to be you must spare people as much of that as possible. Keep it really, really balanced well. And the voice, I mean, I know it's my own voice, so I'm producing my own voice. And I have to get distance from it. Otherwise, you just can't get any objectivity. But the time I would get sick of my own voice, as anyone would. So when I'm working on it, I think, no, it's too loud. Dark, it's too loud. And I turn it down until you can't hear it anymore. So then I go, there's all of that going on. And the point is, it has to be really balanced, because mostly it's headphone music. The sound itself is one of the most, if not the most powerful part of it, to do the actual changes of the energy field and so on. So that has to be served properly. And you want to optimize the music, because spend a lot of time making that stuff, and it's good. And you want people to enjoy it as much as they can. If it sounds right, it's all of that. So, or you just could say that's just mixing neurosis, and I couldn't disagree either. And 1 more week of that, and then Carl Harvey's back from, as I say, the jungle, but he's been at Burning Man, so going to speak with him. And I reckon, Spanky's doing the visualizers. That's the video, things they're being done. And I've got to write the book for it. There's a book that goes with it. But last time I wrote that one in about a week. So if I really concentrate, I'll do that. The end of the month, maybe. You never know. Maybe the end of the month.
You're like a force of nature. I've got to write the book. I'll probably do that in a week or a month,
Oh, not a month. I couldn't write a book in a month. It would be too long. I don't like writing books. 1 week, that's it. No more.
Right. There was a question by Susie Tyson. She's saying, do you have to have listened to Amped 1 before moving on to Amped 2?
No, I thought about this a lot, Susie. It's an interesting one. You don't, no. I mean, well, I'd like to think you don't. The way I've made Amped 2 is that you come into it, you'd see it was volume 2, so you'd expect it to be continuing from something. But and it does introduce itself like that in a way. But no, it's built as a unit so that you wouldn't have had to. I'd rather people did. Yeah, it would be better. But it definitely had better effects if you did listen to volume 1 first. But I wouldn't say it's essential. No, this stuff's powerful. Volume 2 is really, wow. Seriously powerful. It's beautiful. I'm so excited. Anyway, shush.
Yeah, I'll share my own experiences of volume 2, because obviously you very generously gifted it to me, and I've finished the last session, the full 6 weeks yesterday. But Could you take us through the differences, how it builds, from volume one onto volume two? How do you see it differs or improves, or how would you describe the contrast with it?
Yeah, firstly, I really, again, owe you a deep. I feel really bad that I subjected you to the unfinished version because it must have been a bit scratchy on your brain. But I'm going to send you the corrected one as soon as it is done to make up for that. The difference is like as you develop as you go along, you develop technique as you go along. So you see what works from the first one. This is talking as the producer, and you think, well, that really worked, and people really like that bit. Okay, well, then that means I can use that in a different way, use it more. What have you. The frequency design on this is very important. The first one on purpose, I kept the whole thing based around 300 hertz. I did use a few other frequencies in there, but they were to support the 300. At this, which I use an offset technique, which creates binaural beats in the midbrain, which is very important for all of this stuff. This one it's a really different emphasis. It's mostly on 528 hertz, but the 432 and the 300 and the 110, and there's a whole plethora of others, are all in there as well. And I've used varying sorts of filtering devices so that you get this bizarre effect from it as well. The music is definitely deeper. I mean, the music is taking it. It's like you've got a conversation going, okay, you trust me to kind of okay, look, let me take you here now. Let's go a little bit more like into some other experimental musical states. I think the music is good on this one. It's got I mean, I'm listening back. I go, oh, that's good. He's good to whoever made that. That's nice music, That's me talking as a musician. The narrative in it is quite different as well. I mean, I'm using the same technique of it's all in the first person, so it's like it's me talking to myself. You're talking to yourself using my voice basically, and I'm using affirmations as all the time anyway. But in this one, I've taken it into I'm visualizing, I am now seeing, and into meditating, I am now relaxing, I am now sinking down. In other words, you're getting an education in Taoist meditation practice and visualization practice without even realizing it. So you're actually you're talking yourself through the whole process, which is a really good way of learning. And so this engages you a little bit more actively, albeit that you could be asleep while you're doing it. It engages you a little bit more actively than the first one in the process of doing magic. So the first one is focused on the affirmations. I'm doing affirmations to manifest a new reality. With this one, I am now entering the magic circle, the original magic circle. I am now in the primordial magical realm, and I'm about to exercise my intention, my will, and create change in the field by doing so. And it's quite deep. I mean, it's just taking it that one stage deeper, really. And it addresses, rather than 6 areas of life, it's slightly different. This one, it addresses getting you here, getting you in a state of alert relaxation. It addresses, here I am doing magic. What does that mean? Why am I doing it? And what am I going to do with it? And am I entitled to? Do I have the power? Yes, you do, etc. That's it then addresses directly, without any messing about money, because I know that from all the feedback, everybody has got a thing with money, and why not? It's an interesting game, money. So this takes that process much deeper, and about success, not just money, but the whole process of success and doing stuff in the world and getting things done in quick time without rushing, all of that stuff. Then we come to healing. Now, this is where it does differ a lot from Amped 1, is there's a whole long episode on healing yourself, healing your own wounded inner child, which is really important from a psychotherapeutic point of view, because we were talking about it before. When you're acting out of pain, you're generally acting out from the child inside of you, the traumatized child that didn't have time to process the trauma, because you don't when you're a kid. You just kind of pick yourself up and carry on, but it's in there. You're acting out from the wounded child. So this helps you stop doing that. It even goes into healing your ancestors outside of linear time, so that healed version will come through your DNA back to you now. Transtemporal therapy, I call it. And So there's quite a big healing thing, and it's powerful, the healing. I think it will work for you. Yeah, I'm pretty sure of it. And then we have the one on love, and this time I haven't been shy to make it about love. I mean, being in love. What does that actually mean? The idea of falling in love. Why do you want to fall in love? This is like rising up in love is the way for me. And how to avoid codependent dynamics, how to extricate yourself from one if you're in it and you don't want to be there anymore. It's got proper magic for drawing to you a partner, a life partner, or a lover, whatever you want, really. Not through manipulation, I have to say, but through inviting the Tao in that form. The whole thing's about that. None of it is about manipulating to get something. It's all about doing a more and more elegant dance with the Tao, who then rewards you by presenting as all the bits and pieces you want. And the final episode is the big send-off. It's like the huge, I have the power, basically. I have this power and I'm going to use it and it's going to work. It's working. It's one of those. And with a very big, lush, magnificent finale, because that's one of my things. I love doing that, big Hollywood finales. Yeah, that's it. It's beautiful. I shush. I must be modest now and shut up.
It is beautiful. I'll pick up on that in a moment. I just want to go to the comments for a second. Karen Richardson says, wow, been learning a lot about DNA activation and healing ancestral pain lately. Sabine says, sounds amazing. Tasia, I hope I pronounce your name right, says she's looking forward to it very much. Paul, who said he'll know him as Sifu Boggy.
Yeah, Sifu
Boggy. He's been very active in the comments, giving some wonderful insights. And he's saying, where's the comment gone? I've lost it. Sound is magic and spiritual downloads. I've taken a few notes of my own, Stephen, about my own sort of experience of AMPT Volume 2. And the first two sessions, the first two audios, the first 2 weeks, I was in such a high energy and feeling ecstatic. It was just monumental. And the narrative, my understanding of it is like arriving in your majestic physical body. And my understanding of this is grounding more of your soul energy into the physical. I know people talk about ascension and rising up to goodness knows where, but I think it's the opposite, really. I could be right, could be wrong, but it's about grounding the soul energy into the physical. And this grounding of soul energy helps you to manifest from an embodied understanding of Taoist principles, which you so superbly narrate in the background. And in subsequent sessions, as you mentioned, of Volume 2, you give deep meditation opportunities to heal yourself from pretty much anything which ails you. You can simply set your own intentions, which I did, and allow yourself to be expertly guided by the master himself. You also cover, as you've already mentioned, money and financial worries by reprogramming your subconscious with positive serving affirmations in this regard, some of which are subliminal, or, barely audible. Sometimes you can't hear them at all, but they're being registered in the background by your subconscious and picks it all up regardless. And you know what? I find a newfound knowingness that all will be well with my finances. And I don't have a need to worry or stress, which is a huge relief. And I find myself able to go with the flow more often. There's been some changes at my place of work and a fair bit of uncertainty. And I'm aware of some people freaking out a little bit, which would have been me in the past, to be honest. But I was able to just have an attitude of, let's just see what happens. Let's just see where this goes. And crucially, I can now look at a situation and identify an opportunity. Wherever there's been a perceived loss, there's always an opportunity in place of that. And that's yet another benefit of AMPT. And all the while, there's original music, as you see, playing in the background alongside, and all the different genres that you cover. And something for everyone. You even play a lead guitar on one track, and I'm like, whoa, go Stephen, that's amazing. It's become a part of my life. I listen every day. I love listening, and it's part of my routine. Wow. And I find myself having to watch where I put my energy now, because manifesting can be quite instantaneous now. And so I'm more mindful of where I'm putting my energy and focusing on to to hopefully manifest something that I do want as opposed to what I don't want. And
Yeah.
my intuition's gone through the roof at work. A customer approached me at work last week and she said, "Oh, I've lost my friends in the store." And I was like, "Oh, don't worry, they'll be here in a minute." She like looked at us. I says, "In fact, yeah, they are. They're coming up the outside the building."
Yeah.
She says, "How do you know what my friends look like?" And I suddenly thought, "Oh yeah, shit." I says, "Oh, just a lucky guess." but I knew they were her friends, even though I'd never seen them before. But just things like that, just a knowingness, and just going with the flow. And I can't recommend volume 1, and then volume 2 just takes it to the next level. It really does.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Yeah, I'm glad. Oh man, I've got to send you the corrected version. I feel so bad you're listening to that awful sound. I will send him very, very soon. Yeah.
Don't feel bad. I'm loving it. I'm buzzing by it. Doc, if you haven't, or if you have got anything to add to volume 2, please do so now. And if we've got time, I'd love to do another guided visualization, because I know the viewers absolutely love your guided meditations. How would you feel about that?
I'd love to do that. I mean, my only other thing I'd say about AMP2 is that I can guarantee it does work. It works on me, and if it works on me, I promise it can work on anyone, because I'm hard nut, you know. It definitely does. It definitely entrains you into a Taoist magician state. It's remarkable, really. I mean, even I say that as an onlooker, it's like, wow, this stuff really works, even on me. So, yeah, no, it's good. Anyway, enough of that. What do you want to do a visualization for?
Well, that's a good question. That is a good question. I'm going to put this out to the audience live on the call. Would anybody have any requests about what you'd like the doc to do in a live guided visualization? It's put me on the spot, and it's my bad. I haven't actually come up with something as a topic or a theme, and it's a fair question. There might be about a 10-second delay between me asking a question and Facebook picking up. So is someone in the comments going to be broad enough, going to be brave enough even to suggest a theme on what we could do a guided meditation? Karen Richardson is saying visualization to get into the flow.
I'm happy with that. But maybe we could combine some if any more. Is that it? Or should we go? Should we do that?
Is there any more for any more? Speak forever. Speak now, forever hold your peace. I'll just give it a little while to see if any more comments come in. But thank you, Karen, anyway, for coming up with something. I appreciate you. William saying activate Thomas. I'm assuming mean Thymus, yes. Don't you just love autocorrect?
Activate Thomas.
That could bring on a whole new connotation. Especially when you talk about being amorous and volume 2 and attracting love. And anyway, we'll not go there. Lindsay and financial freedom. But so we've got a few ideas there. Activating Thomas.
Okay, so this is all about activating Thomas.
Yes.
Yes, I don't know if you read ever looked at the Gospel according to Thomas. It was the only gospel that was written at the time of Jesus's life. It was discovered with the Dead Sea Scrolls, and it's not included in the official Bible, but is weirdly, ironically, the most kind of genuine kind of biblical writing that there was of all. It's the way the world is. And I really highly recommend it. It's just things that Jesus said, and it's beautiful. There are lots of things you don't read in any of the others, and it's really clear and easy to get. And that Thomas who wrote that must have been an amazing guy, like really balanced and clear. This is my impression anyway, and really sensitive to what was refined and what was good, knew how to record what was needed. Anyway, that quality of fine refinement and sensibility is what I think we should activate here, is what I'm saying, as opposed to the doubting Thomas, which is the other side of it, which is like the thing we want to. I think that's what gets in the way of flow, is the doubting Thomas. So this is all about healing and activating Thomas. Picture that you are sitting in a very comfortable chair type structure made out of fiberglass or whatever they make those things out of, so that they float. They sit on the water and they float. You know those things you get in the swimming pools. They're like really nice, comfortable armchairs. They're see-through, and they're not the blow-up ones because they're too squishy. These are more solid somehow. Anyway, you're sitting in one of those, and it's very pleasant. And you notice that you are slowly but surely drifting along with the current of the river, which is quite a big, fat, wide river with quite a lot of current in it, but it feels safe. There's no sense of danger. You feel that the river and all its inhabitants, all the fish, even the crocodiles, and all the creatures that live along the sides, and the wild tribes that live in the hills on either side of the river, where as you pass through the terrain, are all your friends. They're all your allies. Everyone is out to help you. Everyone is out to support you. Everyone is out to protect you. Everyone is out to provide for you. That's what you know. You know, people kind of just know certain things. This is what you know as you sit here in your floating chair. Because the chair is very well designed, because knows who did it, I got a feeling it was an Italian designer, the guy who won, or the woman who won the last year's award of the most perfectly ergonomically designed chair in the universe. This is it. And because it's so well designed, it encourages the weight of the body to sink back into it. And you allow that to happen. You're noticing this, you're allowing the weight of your body to sort of drift into your back and then into the back of the seat. It's like you're allowing the back of this well-designed seat to support you fully. You're using no muscular energy or strength to hold yourself up. You're allowing the seat to do it for you. And you're aware that the seat is kind of being held up, if you like, certainly being pushed forwards, being propelled by the current of the river, this great flow that we are talking about merging with. And you know that if you give more weight, even more weight to the back, somehow that will present more of a resistance so that the flow has got more to push against, and therefore you will be propelled even more efficiently along. So there's a feeling of a symbiotic relationship between the inside of your body, the way you're distributing your weight, and the effect of the current on you. So you allowing yourself to lean back inside, and as you lean back inside, the current pushes you with a bit more efficiency from behind. And the more you're feeling it do that, the more you're feeling safe to trust it and lean back into it further. You know that the more you lean back into the current so that the faster it can push you, the faster you're naturally moving along in the river. And this is an interesting one because you recall that until now, when you wanted to move faster along, you tended to lean forwards and kind of run into it. This is actually working better, and it's requiring no energy whatsoever. All you have to do is sit back and enjoy the ride. So you're sitting back and enjoying the ride, and the ride is taking you inexorably towards the wide open, beautiful sea. Fortunately, you've heard the weather reports today for shipping and all the rest of it, and it's a very calm day out on the sea. There's no major currents or swells to be concerned about. There's no winds. There's a little bit of breeze, so it's not horribly hot or anything, and the weather is beautiful. The sun is just right, warming your bones without boiling you. It's a really lovely feeling, and you just feel glad to be alive. Now, you know that in your kidney area, there's this little aspect of you. I say little because it's from when you were young. That's going, no, you can't trust this. Don't trust this. If you trust this, it's going to tip you over and then you'll be sorry. Don't trust it. Don't trust it. There's that bit doing that. It's a child in you. So you, like a parent leaning towards their own child, you kind of turn inside to it and you go, hey, look, darling, come here. And you lift the child up and you hold them in your arms and you make them feel safe like you would any other child. You just make them feel safe. You don't have to say anything except to say, baby. Oh, baby, that kind of thing. You don't have to do any more than that. And you feel your inner child bit by bit release its grip and relax inside and go, oh. And at that point, you've integrated and you know that there's nothing inside of you now saying, don't trust it. In fact, what is going on inside is, I trust this. Yeah, I trust this. This is beautiful. Why would I not trust this? I wonder where it's taking me. And at that point, you then get clear about your intention. Now, the less specific you can be, the better. because the more specific you are, the more psychic energy it requires to focus in on it. And the more open, broad-minded you are about your intention, the more latitude you give the flow of events to produce a more imaginative, elegant result. You give it more room to maneuver. So the more broad base you can keep it, the better in general. Sometimes you need to focus, but in general, it's something like, I'm rolling towards the big wide open sea, and as I'm doing so, the light in the sky somehow is growing brighter. The sun is somehow growing warmer and more soothing. My prospects are growing brighter along with that. And what I'm seeing is me feeling on top of the world, not because of anything particular, but because of a combination of everything. Well, actually, primarily just because I've chosen to feel on top of the world, because I've got this amazing gift. I'm here, I'm alive. That's amazing. I'm privileged to have that. But because I have that feeling, all the details required to support the state that I'm in, i.e. the money, the ease of events, not too much stress, harmonious relations with those around you, people helping you, opportunities arising, and amazing good fortune in everything that you're doing. Everything's working. In other words, you've overcome obstacles, you've got out the messes you were in, and here you are. You're in an amazing state. Not anything like, wee, it's not that. It's more of a, yeah, this is good. This is good. Now, you have fear because you're an animal. You've got to have fear. But that fear is not blocking you. It's just giving you an excitement in the belly, so that you're getting a sense of, yeah, I'm flowing. I'm with the flow. I'm letting the current take me. And I feel expectant with joyful anticipation of the very best, whatever that is. And I'm not going to try and dictate what it is ahead of time. Whatever happens, I assume is the very best and will be the very best, not just for me, but for everyone that I'm involved with, which eventually includes pretty much everyone. So at this point, you cast the thought out to humanity at large, the big family. And, you're aware that half of them are asleep, half of them are awake, half of them are fighting, half of them are loving, and so on and so on and so on. Half of them are stressing, some of them are relaxing. Every single variation possible is occurring right now. But at the soul of each of 8 billion people on this planet, it's the same beautiful love. It really is. However distorted the surface may look, at the soul of everyone is the same beautiful love. And right now, you're tuning into that. You're feeling it from your heart. You're feeling that connection to the whole family. Doesn't mean you've got to like them all, but you're including everyone in your love. And in that, there is great healing. And you get rewarded by the Tao of it all, the great flow, for conducting that little mission just now. So not only are you now going to manifest beautiful things as a result of just doing that, you're also going to be rewarded on top of that for facilitating the flow of a new energy for everybody. If you like that idea, you don't have to believe it. That just gets in the way of it. You don't have to put any energy into it at all. You just have to go, yeah, I agree to that. Inside you say, yeah, I agree to that. That's all you have to do, and it's done. And then bring that power and that beauty back with you when you open your eyes. Don't let it go. Just let it be part of the air around you now. And you might want to wriggle your fingers and wriggle your toes, wriggle your ears and wriggle your nose, and bring yourself back, flustering your eyelids ever so gently into the waking state.
Wow, that was beautiful. I feel so expansive now and just cleansed. Feels like I've had an energetic shower in the best possible sense. That was amazing. Just gonna go back to the comments a second. Isabel saying apparently I was commenting disconnected from Facebook. Go figure. Self love was my suggestion for the record. Oh, sorry. Karen saying I love absorbing the doc's wisdom. Yeah, me too. And I just want to give a shout out to Susie. I missed her comment, her suggestion. It was a total oversight, an accident. These hosting these Facebook sessions, the more I do them, I'll become a bit more grounded and embodied. But there's a few moving parts, so these comments move fast, and I do miss some. So apologies if I've missed anybody's comments today. Stephen, thank you so much. That was brilliant. I always gain so much value out of your wisdom. I listen to you every day on Amped, Volume 1 and now Volume 2. And it's just really is enhancing my life. Thank you to everyone for joining us live on the call. Stephen, as always, do you have any final words, final thoughts, anything else you would like to say?
Yeah, just to say, you are such a lovely, lovely man. Thank you. Truly, you're a lovely man. I love doing this with you. You're really beautiful. You create an instant vibration of goodness around you. So I just feel blessed doing it, and thank you. And to everybody for joining in, of course.
Yeah, no, thanks very much. That's amazing. I look forward to the next one, which I'm sure there will be. And
yeah, soon. Yeah.
At a time. So love to everyone. Thank you so much for being a part of this. And we'll speak to you all soon in the groups. Bye-bye.
Bye.